Ready, bang!
I wasn't sure if you were going to have a beer, but I got one ready.
Yeah, when you mentioned it, I thought, well, hell yeah, I better make sure I've got one ready.
Yeah, beautiful. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it is the moment you've been waiting for. It is the Ready Bang podcast. I'm your host here, the Aussie ArmWrestler. I've got the sweet merch happening, and as you can see on the screen, I'm joined by one of the most prolific arm wrestlers, not just in Australia, but in the world today. He has won multiple national titles. He's fucking won, not only has he won state championships, but I think if it was the Queensland one, he won it with fucking sunnies on his head. Didn't even have the audacity to take the sunnies off his head. He just turned up, just went, mate, it is too much effort to go bang on the table. I'll just pin you with my sunnies on. But it is the one and only Ryan Blue Bowen. Ryan, how the fuck are you?
Mate, I'm pretty good. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Is that taped and on your T-shirt where you've written "The Aussie," or is that a new print?
Mate, look, pound for pound arm wrestling's doing really well, and your merch is fantastic. Unfortunately, as an upstart, my lovely wife is an art teacher, so I went into the cupboard. That is taped on. That's the competitor shirt from Nationals last year. And
beautiful,
so
man. I love it.
I can get to your merch level.
I love it, mate. And to touch on the sunnies on the head thing, that's just an intermediate step. I've got to get to the Toddzilla yet, where you hold a beer as you pin someone. That's the true challenge.
Wow, mate. Mate, when it comes to setting goals, I love that you're doing that. And of course, I wouldn't be an Aussie if I wasn't having a fucking beer. So cheers to you, Ryan, for jumping on the show.
Cheers. I think this should become a podcast signature of yours, that you have a beer with every single guest. Make it happen. Insist on it. Don't let them out.
Two things are guaranteed on the podcast. At the start, you'll be having a beer with me, and then at the end, everyone that's on the podcast, I need to hear you're ready bang. Oh, I can do it. Yeah. But at the end, we'll do that. But in saying that, look, I've been banging on about how fucking good you are. Let me tell you how good I am. Have you got yourself one of these bad boys? This is a third place, mate. Don't worry about winning. This is third place left arm amateur.
You know, I probably did have some until about 2 weeks ago. I actually cleaned out my shed, and I literally, I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but I threw out all of my amateur trophies.
Oh, mate, I saw that. Unfortunately,
there may have been a third. On the left arm, there may have been a whole bunch of thirds.
I'm keeping this one. This was last year. This was my first and only trophy. My wife's only competed in one comp, and she's picked up 2 medals, and that was at Arnold's last year, and she hates arm wrestling, so that's always good. We'll let you in nice and easy with the Aussie arm wrestler. I'm assuming the nickname Blue comes from having blue balls. That's what I'm hearing on the internet. Fuck off blue balls. Is that right?
Well, judging by the photos that came out from me at the Zloty Tour last year, a few people were commenting the same way. They saw me hanging out with the entire Swedish team, and I don't know how the Swedes do it, but they're all like 9.5 out of 10 on the scale of how gorgeous they are. Every single Swedish woman is just amazing. So, but no, that isn't the truth to it. It's actually reminiscent of soldiers World War I with red hair. Everyone called them blue because they didn't know their name, and I was up the top of a rope. I was on basic training in my military days, and the physical training instructor had no idea who I was. I was at the top of the rope. I had red hair, and he said, "Hey, Blue, hurry up, get down, would you?" So,
absolutely. That's why they call you Blue. It's one of the most Australian nicknames. That's why when I first was getting right into arm wrestling, and it's like, oh, there's an Aussie, Ryan Bowen. It's like, oh, what's his nickname, Blue? And they're like, yeah, it is. He's got red hair, and that's as Aussie as it gets. Like, it's unreal.
I get surprised how many people don't recognise that. I have a lot of people ask me, what's the story with Blue? How did you get that? And it is very Aussie. I always just say it's like calling a big bloke tiny or something like that. So,
yeah, like me.
Yeah.
I just might have to pan the camera out.
Yeah.
No, but
it
the arm wrestling scene's a bit coming like the UFC, and everyone's got to have their nickname. You know, you've got Toddzilla with Todd Hutchings and the Monster. Is there anyone that you just look at and you just wouldn't mind changing? Like, if you had to change one person's nickname and fuck it off, who would it be?
I actually, it's a good. I'll get to that. Give me some time to think. But I actually love nicknames in that I actually think that I feel like I've given a lot of people nicknames. I know Neil Pickup is like the godfather of giving people nicknames. He's given the vast majority of people that came through Arm Wars, like the Perfect Storm, Devin Larrett's No Limits, like all the good ones, Monster Michael Todd, they're all from Neil Pickup. Steel Giraffe, Nicholas Nanestad, all that sort of stuff. Relentless, Frodo Horgan, they're all Neil. But I came up with I like Jordan the Reacher Davis. That was the
Reach Around. You gave him the nickname.
The Reach Around Davis. But I came up with Lachlan the Anvil Adair as well.
You came up with the Anvil. See, I first saw Lockie pull at Arnold's last year. I only been like really getting him for about 18 months, like competing. I was playing other sports, and I was just drawn to him because I'm a huge wrestling fan. And there was a Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and then he was pulling Devin in a suit match, and it was like, oh, this is Lockie the Anvil, and I'm like, I like you because you got a cool nickname.
Yeah, but in answering your question, nothing jumps to mind that's terrible. But after watching a whole series of your calls, I feel like Cobra Rhodes needs to. I love Captain Breakarm. Captain Breakarm is freaking amazing.
Yeah, Captain Breakarm. Sam Harris sent me a message. I think it was a prediction video or something ages ago, and I called him Captain Bubblegum.
Yeah.
He loves it. There's like, with a few of the nicknames. So if Giannis is the Jedi, how come Coach Ray calls himself Coach Ray? Shouldn't he be like Skywalker or something? Because Giannis's baby.
Yeah, and Jamie the Natural Sheldon, I think he wishes someone would change his name for him. He's such a fan of everything Star Wars. I think he wants to be the Sith or whatever it is, the bad guy or something. But,
I'll write that down. I'll do a Jamie Sheldon match and I'll give him his new nickname. I reckon. Beautiful. Surely Jeff Hale has to call his missus the Hail Mary. Like that just writes itself. Absolutely, like he's the Hail Raiser. I'm a huge fan of Jeff Hale, but like surely, if he picks up the hammer or something like that, he'd have to look at that baby. You're the Hail Mary.
Yeah, I reckon he's so thorough in his approach that I think it's actually an alter ego for him as well. Like it's not just a nickname; he lives and breathes that so well. I haven't met Jeff in person yet, but I think that his character on stage is like he's fully capable of WWE standards. I think, and he's never stepped out of character when he's on stage. It's amazing.
Oh, and that leads into like the next thing I wanted to talk about, because like it's either arm wrestling's either classed as pub pullers or it's a bit of an underground sport. Yeah, what do we need? What do we need to do to make this a global sport, like really bring in the money? Because when I watch Jeff Hale drop some promos, it's unbelievable. I love it. I fucking love all that.
Yeah, well, I do think that what we are doing is right. I think it's the most powerful thing we have is patience and consistency, and thankfully we have enough success now that there are enough people willing to be consistent. I think that the way that global entertainment is consumed now has changed. 15 years ago, to reach a global audience, a show like this, you'd need to be in a television studio, and which means you need to know people, which means you need to have huge contracts and big equipment. Now we can get to global audiences with a phone. That's it, and distribution's free. So with the advent of social media, we really did change the game in that respect. People like Igor Mazarenko, been doing it for 20, 25 years, the PAL. People like that are instrumental. He clearly loves the sport. He's clearly a badass promoter. If you ever get yourself to a Zloty or a Nemiroff Cup, it's phenomenal. It blows your mind. It's like a nightclub on steroids. It's pumping. It's absolutely amazing.
Yes, that's what you want.
And honestly, for tournament arm wrestling, I've never felt or experienced anything like it. Like having gone once, I will go there again. So when it comes to crowds, in-house crowds, both the Zloty and WAL are kicking goals. WAL's environment is electric as well. It's a totally different feel. And they're both separately doing the right things. I think the PAL and the WAL, if the sport keeps going as it is, will give us a platform to really reach the proper audiences. And then the next chapter, I feel, is people like you, people like me, athletes creating their own opportunities on the backs of the big main two spear fronts that are heading forward. And it's just a snowballing effect. Like YouTube's massive. YouTube, there are channels out there making don't quote me on this, but like Eddie Hall, for instance, makes about 120 grand a month on YouTube, just on YouTube.
Geez, that'd make your boy fucking balls tingle. But that like leads into a few things. I had to do myself a bit of research. And did you know, between you and I, Blue, we've got just under 33,000 subscribers on YouTube between you and I.
You say
it's unbelievable, because I was like, so if I can really get Blue on the show, and between us, almost 33,000. Mind you, I've got a whopping 73 subscribers, and you're carrying the other 32.9 thousand. Man, that's fucking unbelievable to be able to have.
YouTube is a slow burn. I remember when I started my YouTube channel, man. I like to tell people about it. I famously, in my mind anyway, I famously made $34.50 in my first 5 years on YouTube. 5 years. And I can tell you, I put just as many videos out then as I do now. And yet now
that's fucking $30 more than anyone else out there. Like, I just watched a video of my 2.5 minutes of my auntie getting the shit scared out of her. It's hilarious. Yeah. You just gotta have the right stuff. But the content's unreal. Going back to WA, and you were talking about crowds and electrifying and fucking shit like that. The WAL crowd, like, are they real? Like, or are they did they just come off the Judge Judy set and like pop in?
They very clearly started out as fake. There was it was so blindingly obvious at first. There were the people in there that looked so confused watching arm wrestling. They didn't know what was going on.
It's hilarious.
Since I was at WA of 504, and I would say the organisers there will tell you it's sold out, and it was, to a degree, like I feel like it was 80% fans, genuine, and then no, hang on, I'm gonna change my ratio. I'm gonna say 50% genuine fans, 30% arm wrestlers and their attachments, 20% rent a crowd.
Fillers, because sometimes you watch.
That's just what I felt. I don't know that. But here's the thing: is like the rent a crowd people get given, for instance, signs to wave. It's like they might say "Go RVJ" or some bullshit like that. And the thing is, you look at the 5 signs that are around the room. They're all in the same bloody handwriting. Some producer out the back's written all these things, and it's like, nah. But I think it is changing. Like Devin Larratt, Dave Chafee had on social media, they'd hit like 100 million views within a week of their match. So that ticks the boxes for ultimately this sport is going to live or die on the back of digital views. It
has to.
Yeah, we're not going to sell out stadiums. We're all about digital views, and so getting 100 million views in a week is is big for anyone sponsoring that. If their
Absolutely.
brand's up in mind.
And you know why? It's because we all thought they were going to fucking punch the shit out of each other beforehand.
Yes. Yes.
And that's what we need. We need more of that. We don't need people hitting up the pound for pound fucking YouTube channel and quickly pressing dislike and going, "What about things move?" You know, we just I love getting on Facebook or things like that, and you've got your little clan there, your three musketeers, I'll call them, the reach around and the amble, and you don't care. You don't care about fucking poking a bear or calling it, like everyone might be like, and I'll get to the milkman and that in a bit, but it's like, you'll come out and go, I'll beat the milkman. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. You are creating debate, and that's what it's about. And then everyone fucking jumps on, and now the casual arm wrestling fan in Australia, we want to see.
We want to see it.
We want to see Lockie and Milkman. But sometimes I just feel we've got these big fuck off men like lifting 600 kilos, not 600 kilos, fucking 300 kilos. And we put a lot of shit to each other. It's got to stop. It's got to stop.
There is a lot of, I don't know, like social media is a funny place. I only interact in the world of social media when it comes to arm wrestling. I don't want to be political and all that sort of stuff. But among arm wrestlers, it's definitely easy to push people's buttons. I find like people, a lot of North America hates the fact that I got a WAL start ever.
I can only imagine.
Who the hell is this Aussie? Who the hell is this Aussie? He's rubbish. He's an amateur. He's never done anything, and he's getting a WAL call. It really got under the skin of a lot of people. Some even that were on the WAL roster, and plenty of people that were wishing they were on the WAL roster. But honestly, the thing is, as you touched on it, you got to recognise, and I saw this right from the beginning. When I had aspirations of getting onto the WAL, it's actually before WAL even existed. When I had aspirations of being a professional arm wrestler, and professional in the sense of the word being, it's your career, it's what you're paid to do, not how good or bad you are. But when I wanted to be a professional arm wrestler, it was actually via Arm Wars. I actually contacted Neil Pickup and said, "Look, what do I have to do?" And he said, "Prove to me that you can arm wrestle in every position and be entertaining." And I went to my so I went and created a highlight reel of. I went around the country and beat people in as many different ways as I could.
Yeah.
Filmed it all, sent it to put it together as a highlight reel, sent it to Neil, and at 1.25 years in the sport, I got a ticket to Arm Wars. I literally flew to London on a Friday, flew home on a Monday because I had to get back to work. I spent more time in the air than I did in London, but I had an absolute bloody screamer of a super match with a gentleman named Anil Najran.
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it.
And it was awesome. I won it 4-2, and I got fired up. It was entertainment. In terms of a fan watching that, doesn't matter that I was essentially still an amateur. It was entertaining, and so the seed was planted with Neil right then and there that I could do what is needed to be done in a marketing sense. So when I got, it was just Neil always said to me, "Look, you'll get a WAL call. It's just a matter of time, and it's a matter of when you become a good enough arm wrestler." And Neil was always watching me closely, and I believe it was kind of my performance at bottom 8 when I beat Evan Burgoyne.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. That bottom 8. We need more of that. Yeah. That was cool. They were huge wins.
That was the moment. Yeah, but people do get a little their knickers tied in a knot. I've always been a super ambitious guy within my own self. I'll admit I'm cocky as hell. No,
fuck off.
Well, I
really?
try to do it in a I try to do it in a respectful manner, but like the thing is, I feel like it's inevitable. Like the timeline might not be accurate, but I feel like my goals are inevitable, and I feel like every goal I've had for myself, I've ticked off so far. So why the hell would it stop?
Oh, absolutely smashing it. But that's what it needs. Like, and the way I see it, if you don't have haters, then you're doing something wrong. You know what I mean? Like it's all polite, but then when you get the people on there, fucking hanging shit on you, then
Like-
I reckon you're doing something right. Because every time I have a look, like even the other day, look, I love the sport. I've got so much passion for it, but if I see another fucking training video, I'm going to lose it. We're so lucky to have so many people tell us how to train and train properly, which is unbelievable. And when you had the super match with Lockie, I got excited. We need more.
Yeah.
We need more matches. There's like WA only do 6 events a year, and they need to do more. Now, I don't know if I don't understand the cost effectives. I've only helped organise a couple of events, but we need more events. If it's a first tier and a second tier, to give all your North American haters, hey guys, I'm sure you're big fans of the show. To give them, you have a promotion and relegation or something, because every time I wake up and we're all in all those awesome, they're great Facebook groups, but then I'm just like 47 fucking people have told me how to train. And like I can only see so many people jump on
that in itself. The how to train thing's a big thing as well. Like there are people like Chris Gobby who sit on a pedestal on a high horse and they love the low hanging fruit of a new novice that's ambitious, and they love jumping on their incorrect lifts, and the form Nazis come out, and there's all these arguments over whether or not that was a good lift or not. And you're like, geez, just let the man train. It's all right. Like, who cares? But the thing about it all is, when it comes to matches, I agree totally. Getting more matches is exciting, and that's why I love, again, YouTube. I love that I can turn up in Craig Sabler's garage with a bunch of drunk people, pull Chance Shaw, who's wearing a pink banana hat.
Yeah.
And that, don't get me wrong, that made me money. That trip paid for itself because of that. Through YouTube, through third-party sponsors, through the match itself. So it's amazing that the sport can do that, and I encourage everyone to start doing it, because there's plenty of room for everyone, and it's way more entertaining than another back pressure video, which I'm guilty of too. But
but like we're so lucky in our sport that we've got the top tier people showing us how to do it. But after a while, I'm just like, mate, just get on a table and pin someone. Like, I think when this first isolation thing happening, you were like a junkie. You're like, right, $500 for someone to come to my house and have a match with me. Yeah. And I was more, I've got this old MMA fighter that I've trained with. I don't care, you can fucking punch me so long as you give me 6 rounds on the table. That's what we need. It's not like, oh, cool, man. Like, 10, and then everyone gets on there and goes, oh, that form and bad. It's like, fuck, you take it two ways. You're going to be polite and help this guy get better, or you're just going to fucking shut him down.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. You touched on before earlier, where's the sport going? Are we going to make it as a mainstream sport? I don't know if we ever do make it as a mainstream sport, but we can make it as a sport of like boxers, where each individual boxer can draw a pay-per-view. But if Lachlan Adair knocks on Todd Hutchins' door unannounced with $5,000 in his hand, slaps it on the table, imagine the fucking views that generates. $5,000, you and me, Todd. Let's go. Something like that. Like that's entertainment right there.
Oh, absolutely, and that's thinking out the box, and that's essentially. I don't want to talk too much about myself. That's essentially what happened with the videos. I initially, if you watch the first couple, being analytic and talking about form and reading the play, because I just love like all sports. And then it took one video, so I was getting you get your 40s and 50 likes and things like that. Then I did John Brazink versus Evan Lorrat, and I told Jody to calm down. And that's how this is all. And now I've gone the funny it was just the Michael Jordan of arm wrestling, and then ready, bang, and I'm like, calm down, Jody, and then from there, so that's you just got to find the niche, and that's how I think you're killing it with your fans or your haters. I don't care. You are creating content. You are creating something for us to watch. You're not worried about what anyone thinks, and it's fucking unreal.
Yes. That is beautiful. I love that as well. I see it as like I constantly throw mud up against the wall, and whatever sticks, I run with it. If it slides off, I move on. And I don't. There's just zero anxiety about someone telling me that one of my videos was shit. I just don't care.
Like,
and I have fun doing it. I come up with ideas daily. I will literally every night come up with a new idea, and I'll float an idea to Jordan or Lachlan, and it'll be like a legit idea. I'll be like, hey, I could invest some money on this match or this person traveling here, and I'll try it. I never hesitate. I just try it, and if the person says, no, I'm not interested, all right, move on, next person, whatever. Let's bring Travis Baaanng out. Like Travis would have been here if it wasn't bloody for coronavirus. Well, I can't imagine what we would have done with him.
Well, Andrew and Phil were telling, like, gave me the green light that I was going to be hosting with Travis at Nationals this year. So I was very devastated with this garbage that's been going on, because and that's talking about entertainment. Got all the respect in the world for John Brazing. What he's done is amazing. But what makes Pulling John documentary is Travis Baaanng.
No, Travis is the most charismatic person in the sport, I believe. I see him as a super villain. The way he's evolved, he's a super villain of the sport as in the terms of the character. I freaking love him though. I think he's. I got to admit that I wish he would step back into the sport at the top level, like properly.
100%. The sport needs him.
Yeah, he's still good enough. Like physically, he is. Anyone who doubts that he's good enough is crazy. I've seen him in form when he was preparing for his $25,000 match in Moldova against, I can't remember his name, some big dude that was a wax. And when I watched Travis prepare for that, I'm like, damn, Travis is enormous when Travis is prepped.
He's a bad dude. He's a bad dude, and the sport of arm wrestling needs him back.
And in terms of the entertainment factor, I've toured the USA hosting little tournaments with Travis, and I'll tell you that there is no one better at warming up a crowd than Travis. We get into a small little pub, and he just picks up the mic. He picks a pretty girl in the crowd and starts over the microphone, just making her blush. It doesn't matter if her husband's standing next to her.
No.
And the whole crowd is just laughing at how smooth he is. He is a killer on the mic.
That makes me even more happy. I fucking love him. That makes me so much more happy that he's just because sometimes I say, don't meet your heroes or don't meet famous athletes and things like that. And I'm like, no, I want to meet Travis. He'd be unreal. He'd be someone that I'd kill to have a beer with. He'd be hilarious as.
Yeah, he's worth it.
But we'll keep going. We'll move on to our next segment. It's called That's a Pin or a Foul.
That's a pin.
That's right. So if that's a pin, that means it's a good idea. We can talk about it. If it's a foul, it's a bad idea, and we can move on. I've got a few things. Should we be able to gamble on arm wrestling?
100%. I think I've tried to develop the business in the background. I've looked into licensing. I've spoken to people. I'm like, I feel like gambling would bring the masses. I think everyone would love to bet on it.
Mate, you can bet on what colour tie Scott Morrison is going to wear. Whenever my wife finishes watching the fucking most boring Bachelor show, the first thing I do is I get on Sportsbet and I go, right, who's your favourite? I'll tell you what the odds are. Arm wrestling's actually a sport. I don't care about the weather. Should be able to get on Sportsbet, chuck a multi on. I've got Devon.
I've literally tried. Like I said, I've looked into licensing for myself to start a company. I'm like, screw it, I'll do it. Too complex, too deep a rabbit hole, too much money needed for the licenses, and too much risk of being sued for me. But then I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to network with someone who's in a big company. And I have scoured through LinkedIn trying to get conversations with sports tab representatives. I've hustled people in the Qantas Club lounge who are slightly affiliated with it, like going, "Oi, do you know the person? Who's the person that can tell me yes or no? I want to talk to them because we've got a product for you here. There's a ready-made audience of probably 20 to 30,000 people globally ready to bet tomorrow on who's going to win the next WAL match."
Oh.
So I would love it.
I'd make a fortune. And you said a key word there that your North American mates have just probably missed out on, and that's hustle. You know what I mean? Yes, you're on the WAL, and you fucking pinned Alan Guerra. You just didn't get the just swept off your feet there. You hustle. You are spending every waking minute, and I think sometimes you don't get the recognition that you deserve. You instead of just enjoying Qantas Club with a nice fucking bourbon on the rocks, putting your feet up ready for the flight to be cancelled so you can wait another hour, you fucking, hey buddy, hey, you look rich. Come here, dickhead, come here, invest money, Bowen, bang. And people don't see that, and that's why you're getting to reap some rewards. But we need it. We gamble responsibly, or get in my punters club. I don't care.
I agree with you. I agree with you, though. I think that I'd be rich. I think that people might laugh at that because I very famously made a prediction that Devon Larratt would beat Saplenkov 6-0, which I'm going to give you a bombshell story on this tonight.
Yes.
But I've never told it. But but I think I would be rich. But because I think it's fairly easy to predict who's going to win. But the story with Saplenkov and Devon, I got crucified by my YouTube audience and anyone that was from Europe when I said it was after they'd done their the night before, whatever it is, the pre-match interview. They gripped up on the right arm, and Devon, to me, looked good. The way I could see what he was planning on doing. My honest gut feel was Saplenkov was going to win 5-1, maybe 4-2 if Devon got it. But Igor Mazurenko messaged me that night and said, "Ryan, can you fan the flames from your side, if you would? I'd love it." So I went, "Done, Igor." And I jumped on 5 minutes later and boldly declared Devon Larratt was going to win 6-0.
Oh, bang!
and friggin' the internet friggin' exploded.
Oh, yes.
That video had 82,000 views within 24 hours, and 90% of them were thumbs downs, and they were all crucifying me. But we got interest. We got the slap in that horse. So.
Created debate, exactly. And that's what it is. And it's not like you're disrespecting Dennis. It's just like, hey man, I just gotta think this dude on the other side of the table is gonna win. I remember when I was doing, I think it was right before Australian Nationals last year, before everyone when we were at Fed Square, and a lot of the big names pulled out, including yourself. I made a predictions video, and I was actually told by a few people, like, just be careful. Just be careful who you think is going to be better than someone else. And I kind of looked around, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? I'm in a sport. I've grown up with sport all my life, and you're trying to tell me that I can't jump on and my 73 out of our 33,000, don't forget that, and tell, like, who cares? And no one is going to come up to me in Fed Square and go, hey, dog, hey, I remember that you fucking said this on YouTube. I'll show you. I'll beat this guy. No, they don't care. And I was just like, wow, like I could do a footy predictions video and wouldn't bat an eyelid. But yeah, it's just...
Yeah, no, it's true. People take offense to a negative prediction from themselves. Like, none better than, I don't know if you remember or saw the Angry Birds reaction, Adam Wilmot, to when Jordan Davis and I predicted he would lose to Jeff Hale.
Wasn't that unreal? That was so good. And that like, if WAL didn't have any interest in Jordan Davis pulling Adam Wilmot at the 600 series, that definitely, at least they looked at it. That was unreal.
Yes. Yeah.
That was so good, and that's what I love. It's like, oh yeah, man, I'll beat you. You're piss weak. Oh, and you picked the right guy. You knew you already fucking exploded. Oh man, that was the best.
There's another, I guess another arrow in the friggin' bow. Whatever. What's the saying? Another bow to the. I've had too many beers.
String to my bow.
There we go. Another string to my bow is in my the art of creating a future match is about to drop on Neil Pickup's show that'll release in maybe a week. I kind of alluded to it before, but I have a $500 bet with Neil Pickup, and this is how much I believe in it. This is how much I believe in it, and that $500 bet is that Lachlan Adair will beat Todd Hutchins when they face.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Yeah.
And I'm a little worried about Todd's reaction to that because he's my strength coach.
Oh, you're fucked now. You are You'll have spaghetti arms by the end of the week when he hears that you're going to pick Lockie. But that's another thing with creating content. Like, no one. Like, I like your little Three Musketeers group with the reach around and Amble, and I love that Lockie was creating a bit, and that was like the next thing was like Lockie versus the Milkman. I love that Lockie piped up, like as Meta pulled out from New Zealand at Arnold's, and then Milkman's like, that was my competition. And then Lockie popped up. He was like, fuck off.
Yeah.
And now that's created interest. Now a part of me, when all this is over, a part of me wants to fly to Perth to watch this match live.
Yeah. No, there's real tension there now. Like, not acting at all. There's real tension between these two now, and that's good. I love that.
Yes.
That's what we want. And there's genuine heat. Lachlan wants to toy with him, and no doubt the Milkman wants to freaking rip Lachlan's arm off. And so do all of the minions of Ryan, the little hangers, the little amateur arm wrestler hanger-oners that worship Ryan over there. They want to see it
you
as
say
well.
that in the comments so many times. It's so good, and then they're kind of like, oh yeah, so what? So what?
No,
It's like, just come to the Aussie ArmWrestler School of Comebacks, and I'll help those guys out there.
The thing about it is, a lot of people, and too many people, like we touched on before, get offended by it all. We've got to thicken our skin up a bit. Opinions are allowed. Everyone's allowed to have an opinion, especially when it comes to who's going to win a bloody arm wrestle.
Oh, we're
Shouldn't
like
be offended by it.
It's like the strongest sensitive people in the world, where these big dudes that can break people's arms, at a pub and things like that when they're being dickheads. But then it's like, oh, hey man, I think I can beat you. What? What?
Yes.
How dare you say that? What? What? It's like, mate, fuck off. Like, who cares? Cool. You think you can beat me? I think I can beat you. Let's just hang shit on each other on Facebook, and let's get people interested in our match, because what we also need to remember as arm wrestlers, and I'm on like the lowest of fucking amateur level, not many people watch our sport. I don't know if you saw. No, actually, you might have saw in the clip. I went on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yes, I love that. I saw that clip.
Yes, and everyone laughed at me. I said, like they saw me because I used to do professional wrestling, and I tried to drop an elbow on Eddie McGuire, and he gives me a for a 10 headbutt. The crowd were loving it, and then suddenly it's like, oh, what else have you got here? Tell me what. And I'm like, oh, I'd love to be a professional arm wrestler. And then the crowd just laughed. Not only did they laugh at me, but later on in the day when we broke up for lunch, they continued to laugh at me. So what we need to do collectively as pullers is fucking take a step back and not be so sensitive. I love the sport and I love a lot of the dudes in it, but fuck.
Well, self-deprecating humor is always the best. You got to be able to take a hit. And arm wrestling, if you're in this sport, you're gonna have trash talk thrown at you. You just got to know that, and you got to be okay with that.
Oh, it's every sport, mate. It is every sport, and yeah, who cares? Who cares? That could be my shirt for next podcast. Who fucking cares? That might be the next thing.
Just quietly, whilst we're in this coronavirus period, we can't travel, and I don't know when that veil's going to be lifted. Some Aussie matches that I would love to see. Jordan the Reach Davis is big. Let me tell you, the rest of Australia, if you listen to this, the Jordan that exists now is different from any Jordan you've ever seen, felt, watched. He's currently 93 kilos.
I was just about to say, you were mentioning not that long ago that he's like my weight. Like, well, I'm 90. I'm 95, but yeah.
He's 93 kilos and feeling phenomenal. I would put $500 on him to beat Brett Coots tomorrow.
Oh, yes! Wow, because Brett's sitting around that, and Brett needs a challenge. Because
Jordan and Brett.
Like a while
Jordan
ago,
and I know that's a match that Brett would struggle to accept as even a match, because he's in his mind, he's got the little baby version of Jordan in his head. It's not
the long streak of that chick looking. Yeah, he was like 55.
He's 93 kilos. He looks healthy. He's still got abs. Like, he looks lean. Like, he's not finished. He's hunting Ryan Scott. He wants to be 96, 97 kilos by the time Nationals comes around, and hunt Ryan Scott. So Brett Coots would be a great warm-up for Jordan on his quest to beat Ryan.
Oh, yes. And Brett comes in. I've got a table out the back from Brett. He treats me really nice when he comes to training. I train with Brett. And that's what I love. You've just called it. You just said Jordan Davis, bang.
And I'll put $500. I will put $500 on the table for the winner.
Yes.
Myself.
Yes, you've heard it here first. This disclaimer though, this match cannot go on unless I'm hosting. So we'll just leave copyright.
Here's the thing. I shouldn't have to do this, but and maybe in this education process for everyone who is a little sensitive. I love Brett Coots. I think he's a phenomenal puller. He's won so many damn matches. He's got the best endurance out of any hook puller in the country. And I just can't say enough highly of Brett.
Yeah.
I still think Jordan wins. Okay. There we go. There's the disclaimer.
Yes. That is unreal. That is so unreal. And I've always got a soft spot for Brett, only because, now, for everyone that watches this podcast, let's just kill the rumors. This is all natural. This is all natural. I'm a beast. But quick funny story tangent about Brett Coots. I was finishing up like my footy career, and I used to look after people with an intellectual disability. And I was sitting there during an active night one night, and I was like, fuck, I just wouldn't mind, just watch over the top for the 6,000th time at work. I'm like, I wouldn't mind seeing if there's just an arm wrestling comp nearby. Jump on the Google machine, and there was one the next day, WAL Oceania qualifier. It was about 4 or 5 years ago, 4 years ago, at the Dingley Hotel. I don't know, 20 minutes from Melbourne.
Yeah.
And so I messaged my brother. I said, I've just entered this in an arm wrestling comp. No idea how to pull. And they gave us the weight categories anyway. I thought, if I don't eat for 8 hours, I'll drop weight, dickhead. And I turned up, and of course I didn't know, but they do them when you do tournaments. They do them in the ranking system. So my first ever competitive match was Brett Coots, and if I find the video, I'll show you. I'm about 6.5 feet away from the fucking table. There was no backwards hat moment. Brett just looked at me. Everyone laughed, so it's not the only time I've been laughed at arm wrestling. And to be fair, he was great. He just held. I really had no idea, just, as you do when you first start, you just move from here and you just pin me gently, but then spend a bit of time with me afterwards. So, but no, I want this match. I want Jordan Davis versus Brett Coots. I would love to see that. Let's get rid of this coronavirus. That would be unreal. That would be unreal.
It's a great match. It's a great match. It's a classic match of Top Roll versus Hook. Like I love classic battles in arm wrestling. Those two guys would produce one of the classics. I don't think it'd be over quickly. It'd be over with great technical arm wrestling. Hook versus Top Roll. It'd come down to endurance. It'd come down to Jordan's hand control squeeze versus Brett's just unrelenting arm power. Which one gives way
6-round super match? What's your score? 6-round super match.
I don't know if you've noticed, but in the pound we haven't had one yet. But I have a rule that if it's 3-3, we carry on until someone leads by 2.
Yes, or even have a winner. Draws.
Yeah, no 3-3s, okay. no 3-3s under anything I ever organise. If it's 3-3, we're going on, and I'm going to say that we go. It ends up like 14-12 to the reacher.
It's a 5th set in Wimbledon.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Oh, wouldn't that be cool? That'd be unreal. Fucking, it's like 8-9, Brett Coots. Oh, in the reach round, bang, wins it. It's 9-all. We go to 11. Let's fucking go. Oh, that'd be
That's
cool.
it. I want that drama where the arms are so blown with blood pressure that we're seeing the most random strategies come out to play. Like, who knows? Who knows?
And Rowan Atkinson would play Jordan Davis in this movie. Absolutely. He would. No, look, I've never met Jordan, but he's been nice to me on Instagram. So he seems like a cool dude. He seems genuine. If I was picking it, I haven't seen close to Jordan. See, when I see Brett walk in, the bloke just, chiseled out of stone.
Yeah.
That looks so. Being Victorian and a sporting nation like that, I would lean towards Brett, but I'd love to see Jordan in person.
Brett's going to be the favourite. If there's a book on this one, Brett's the favourite. Like, I'll admit that, but I just feel like I have inside information.
Oh, see, this is why we need a bet. I'd be a millionaire if this is all.
I'd put the money on Jordan, and I'd be getting at least, I reckon, $3 back per dollar. So
I see that. I see $1.26 to $3. I should put that at the bottom of the screen. And
I'd put the 500. I'd put the 500 Jordan at $3 really happily. Really happily.
Very confident. Yes, beautiful. That's what we need. All righty. So then, for a bit of fun here, what you got to do is you got to pin someone, you got to lose to someone, and you got to cancel someone out of the 600 series. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you 3 names. You get to pin one, you get to lose to one, and one's got to fuck off from the 600 series. You got Devin Lorette, Michael Todd, and Todd Hutchings.
I'm going to pin Todd Hutchins.
Pin your coach?
Yeah, I'm going to pin him.
So you've just pinned him. So far in the podcast, you've pinned your coach and backed your mate against your coach. Sign up to the Todd Hutchings program here. Todd Hutchings is amazing.com.
He's getting old, man. It's coming to an end. No. In defense of Todd, I love Todd's system. Todd's system is amazing. It's made me so much stronger. And Todd's my strength guidance. He's not my technical guidance. So I just feel like I'd honestly love a match with Todd. I see it in my future. It's going to happen at some point.
Yeah. And the proof's in the pudding. How the difference in what you're lifting and how you're moving on the table. The proof's in the pudding with that one. Don't shy away from the fucking question, Blue. I pin one. You've just pinned Todd. So who are you losing to, and who's fucking off from the 600 series?
I'd actually it's hard to say fuck off to Devin Larratt because he's the poster boy, most popular man in the sport. But I would love a match with Michael Todd that I lose to him. I don't know. I've gripped up with Devin Larratt. I've never touched Michael Todd's hand. I'd love to know what it's like to lose to Michael Todd. Sorry, Devin.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, I would pin Todd Hutchings as well. I would lose to Devon because losing to the best, there's no shame in that.
Mm.
And I'd fuck off Michael Todd because if I see another person on the internet go, oh my God, get rid of the King's move. Get rid of the King's move. Like, I'm going to lose it. So, you know what? I'm going to have a year off.
Maybe we can fuck him off over to face Levan because that's a match that should happen as well.
Yeah. Big, yeah. He needs to go over to Russia with Dave in the top 8 and put himself to the test because his body transformation's unbelievable. I didn't know scientifically that if you moved your hair from the top of your head to your chin, it just makes you phenomenally more stronger. That is so. As you can see, I'm trying my best to lose it from the top.
Yeah.
And you just watch. I'll just whip out an absolute wicked Ned Kelly beard, and then I'll beat you.
Then you'll be there. All right.
But all right. I'm going to shoot some rapid fire questions at you. Can't think. Just answer straight away.
All right. Let's do it.
Right. Here we go. WAL or Slotty?
WAL.
Ginger or lemon?
Ginger.
Yeah. Is Michael Todd called a monster because he hides under the table? Yes or no?
No.
Anvil or Milkman?
Anvil.
Oh, I tried to catch you out there, you cheeky fucker. Last one, King's move, yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind it. It's in the rules. In any sport you find a loophole and things like that. I don't mind the move. In any sport, shit looks ugly. It's not the best looking thing, but I don't mind it.
I just don't think that it's the cheat that fans think it is. I think
not cheating.
That's it. People that arm wrestle competitively and at a professional, even at an amateur level, know that going into a King's move is no guarantee of victory ever. It's anything but. You need to have so much cup, so much pronation, so much back pressure to be able to even get it set in the first place. Have a look. If you want proof, go and look at my attempted King's move round 1 against Lachlan the other night. Didn't even get close to getting it set. Because
everyone's like,
cup
King's move, cheating, straight away.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous.
For some reason,
you go.
Some reason fans think if you straighten your arm like that it's impossible to pin you. They think that the whole body weight thing, it's very easy to pin a King's move with superior back pressure and superior cup. You can just sit there and wait for them to kind of realize they're being a dickhead and just then pin it. But if they are strong enough to actually get a King's move set, i.e. their pronation and their drag is so amazing that your hand goes like that, then they're worthy of being in the King's move. They should be doing the King's move. So
and why would you change something that works for you? Michael Todd is on the top of the heavyweight division and everyone's like, oh, it's bad for the sport. No, it's not, because you continue to fucking watch it. You are continuing to comment on his Instagram and like his videos and watch him train. It's ridiculous because it's like, oh, look, if your King's move, you automatically win. And why aren't we all King's moving?
Yeah.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. But I'm fine. That's not to say that I don't think the WAL has gone too far with the shape of its pads. Their pads are long, their pin pads are low.
They look like my new renovated kitchen bench, the WAL pads. They're massive.
But that match with Todd Hutchins, Devin Larratt, that's the best example of proof enough that the pin pads either need to be higher or the pads going back to a standard size. Because Devin Larratt's arm is parallel with the table and it's entirely flat and no pin is called. No pin. You're like, hang on. Hang on.
They're just all hanging underneath and stepping on each other's feet. Like, oh yeah, I don't mind it, but then you're right. That's where WAR to improve the sport and get more eyes on the TV. Because when you think of arm wrestling, you don't think of two blokes. I mean, I can't even straighten my left arm. Two blokes parallel like that. It's just
yeah. If you go back to a standard size pads, the competitors become 2 inches closer to each other. The hand height goes up. Worst case scenario, then you can't really have two people in a King's move and still be on the pad. So it fixes itself.
Look at that. The man's a genius. Not only done that, he's just improved the WAL. He's fucked up his strength coach as well by the looks of it. Yeah, look, the travel restrictions and everything that's going on. Let's say it was happening tomorrow. Ginger versus lemon. By the way, before I get into that, that's the one thing. I assume you've got no beef with Brendan or anything. But as soon as that match was announced, straight away there was a lemon joke from Ryan Bowen, and I just thought that was unreal. I just thought it was good because now it's like, a match is, Todd versus Devin. Oh man, I love you too, dog. Oh, this should be a good match. It's like, oh well, we've got Ryan versus Brendan. Squeeze the lemon and things like that. Yeah. I think it's cool. I think that's the way to go. But if that match is tomorrow, what's the score?
I feel amazing. I feel the most well-rounded that I've ever felt in my strength. I have genuinely got a press, a hook, a top roll, all as dangerous as each other now. I think that Brendan is a very versatile arm wrestler who has dominated his region because he's a great technical arm wrestler, and the way he sets up, he's been better technically than everyone else. I think the advantages that he's used to gaining as a technical arm wrestler, he's not going to get against me, and he's subsequently going to struggle. He's going to feel very flat. He's not going to have access to the power like he normally does. And worst case scenario in my head is 3-1 to me after he gets one hit away at first. But the way I'm feeling, a lot of people have made comments that I don't have an offensive game, that I'm just a defender. A big part of me kind of like, it's very tempting to just tee off on the dude round one and just show people that I've got a hit. Old school Ryan Bowen that started out, had a big top roll. So that might come out. If that comes out round one, then it's just bang 3-0.
Well, two things then come in. One, and I might get, and I don't care. I fucking care. I might get a lot of heat for it. But your table IQ is very, very underrated. Your table IQ is, and I'm not saying this because you're my favourite guest on the Aussie ArmWrestler podcast so far.
From the long list that's been on here, yep.
Well, we almost had to take, I've got the producer in the ear saying, take an ad break for our sponsors, but, don't worry. But your table IQ is unbelievable. I enjoy, like I always do, prediction videos, and or just like in my arm wrestling group chats, I always do predictions. And I always have a 1 against your name, because even when you pulled Chance Shaw, and I thought it was in someone's lounge room, but it was in their garage. And I think Chance just like blows you away. It's either the first or second round, just blows you away.
Yeah.
And I was just telling everyone, I was just like, so Ryan wins this easy. Watch, and people don't understand. It's kind of almost like the Terminator. Like, you don't just sit there and go, oh, fuck, man, Ken's got to beat me, I've got to rip your arm off. The technical side of what you're able to do is mind-blowing. And when new people turn up to our training thing, I say, if you want to learn some technical things, which is very important, well, almost the most important thing, is watch some of Ryan Bowen's matches, because I'll never predict you to win 3-0 or 5-0, 6-0, 11-0. I'll always, because there's something, because a part of me's like, because you've got that cockiness in you, and you're like, oh, I could see you just turning out and going, I wouldn't mind winning with an outside top roll. I wouldn't mind it. And then, ready, go, and you don't win the outside top roll, and you're like, all right, well, I'll win now. I know where his weaknesses is. And then you just go, cool.
That's it.
And, yeah.
Honestly, if sports bet ever gets on to live betting, me after round 1, it's when you put your money on me.
Oh,
Tell you, when I'm down 1-0.
Mate, I've got my mortgage papers ready. My sister-in-law's my real estate agent. I've told my wife, I'm just like, just when it's on, don't worry about the house, because this house will be a down payment on our 7 yachts when Ryan loses the first round, because we are on. We are fucking.
Yeah. Well, I've won my last 8 right arm super matches, and in 6 of them I lost the first round.
Yeah.
So.
It's not dumb. It's just, and I love it, because it's just like, oh, fucking Ryan, I should have been at, but he's not losing.
I love watching back the live stream footage of any of my matches, because all the haters, the people that really don't want me to win, after round 1 they are so happy and they're celebrating. The told you so's are all there, and it's like. And then I watch round 2 happen, and I watch all the comments change. It's so good. Against Chance Shaw, I loved it. One of the things I loved most was, again, Devin Larratt was in those live comments, and Ryan gets flashed round 1. Devin's next comment is Ryan 5-1. There.
And that's just the way it is. It's I think when things started to turn for me, and becoming a fan of Ryan Baaanng was when I jumped on Chance Shaw's Twitch stream, because WAL, pull your fucking head in.
Yeah,
get a decent stream to Australia. Got a massive fan base. Steve Kaplan, I know you're a fan of the show. Just call me up, I'll sort you out. But something went wrong and the stream wasn't happening. And then it turned into like a 1980s action movie where you would just turn up to some awkward bar ready to fight 40 people, because you jumped on and it's like, oh yeah, cool, I'll beat your Chance, or something like that. And then everyone just then suddenly you're arguing. Well, you're arguing with all these people. And you just go back, you're like, oh, I'll pin you and I'll pin Chance, and yeah, cool, I should have been on this show and I'll pin this. And I was like, yeah, that's a dude I could have a beer with. That's a dude I could have a beer with, yes.
But honestly,
he'll turn his phone off and get on with his life. He won't care afterwards.
Yeah. The thing is, the reason why I've become that arm wrestler is because I love this sport so much that when I began the sport and I said to myself, I want to go all the way, I said, well, you can't just be strong. You have to study the hell out of this sport. And I did, and I still do, study the hell out of it. And I remember early days before there were anything on YouTube of worth, technical-wise, I read a transcript of an interview with John Baaanng. And the transcript, in that, he was asked, what is your biggest weapon? And he said, my biggest weapon is when I grip someone, I can tell exactly what they want to do, and then I take them away from that. And I thought, well, okay, there you go. The greatest of all time is saying awareness is his biggest weapon. So I started looking for awareness right from the get-go. And for me, that has been a never-ending thing. And it's still, every year goes by and I reflect on what I knew last year, and I look at where I'm at now, and I'm like, wow, look at how more detailed my game is now compared to a year ago. And I see people like Devin Larratt at 30 years in the sport still doing the same thing. So I'm not naive enough to think that there's a finite amount. Like, it's a deep rabbit hole, and we're still falling down it.
Yeah, that's cool as. Yeah, I'm a big fan of. That's it. Like, I've got these spaghetti arms. I look like I'm along on top of the car yard. When they blow the air up, my arms are weak as piss. But that's the one thing I'm big on. Yeah, reading the hand. I got no strength.
Yeah.
I got no strength. So if you can read the hand, unbelievable.
It's a beautiful thing about this sport that you can be the weaker man and still win. You really, really can. And I've done that consistently. The people that I have been balanced with historically are all stronger than me. Like, look at
I got my only
training.
pin at Nationals last year. Was up against the guy, and big dude, much stronger. We're in sudden death, both had a foul each, and it came down the ring hands. I'm like, well, I don't have an ego. I don't need to hook with anyone. I'm just going to top bowl you, and I'm going to pin you. You got no fingers, and got a pin at Nationals.
Yeah.
For being
I think I remember it. I was watching the live stream. I'm pretty sure I remember it. So yeah, well done.
Had the mustache at the time. I was 3 weeks out of having hip surgery, so it made it even better. And yeah,
nice.
Shame Australia's greatest catchphrase wasn't ready then. With ready bang, so I fucking would have given it one of those. But that's where we're going to come. You've got to do 2 things for me, Ryan, before we wrap up.
Yep.
One thing you got to do is you got to nominate someone now. You've set the bar high. You need to nominate someone to come on the Aussie ArmWrestler podcast. And I think I will hassle them and tag them and try and get them on.
No, I think I have a good idea of who I would like to nominate. I think that like everyone, for instance, and this is not the person. Everyone hunts Devin Larratt. Devin's been a great ambassador of the sport. He supports everyone. No doubt you'll have him at some point, but you don't need Devin Larratt. I'm sure your talents are that good that it doesn't matter. I would love you to get Igor Mazarenko. If you could land Igor Mazarenko, and I'd help you with it. I'd love to help you because he speaks good enough English.
Yeah.
You might not think he does, but he does. I've sat down and had coffee with him, and he speaks good enough English. If not Igor Mazarenko, Neil Pickup, because Neil is. I think Neil is the most knowledgeable person in the history of the sport. I don't think anyone has more stories than Neil Pickup. I get amazed when I watch him interview someone, and he refers to a match from 36 years ago in a back alley, and he knows every detail about it. And you're like, this guy's
Neil Pickup is the Wikipedia of arm wrestling. He is unbelievable. And I remember years ago sitting on the couch and was flicking through Foxtel, and I was like, no shit, there's arm wrestling on Fox Sports or something. And Neil Pickup was commentating, and he drew me in more than what the matches were happening. I'm a huge fan of Neil Pickup.
He's a genuine entertainer when it comes to his skills on the mic and in commentary, and his knowledge is second to none in the sport. So.
And it's unbelievable. And Neil, once again, I know you're a big fan of the show. Not only would I love you on the podcast, but just so you know, it would be the absolute dream to be sitting next to you and calling a match. I don't care if you come to Australia and we do it.
That is the combo. If I could pick any combo for a commentary team, that's it right there. Like, it is you and Neil. I think it'd be amazing. I see the dream is, I would say, Neil, yourself, and you throw to John Baaanng in the ad commercial for a detailed analysis or something like that, because I've always thought John's got to be in there. If the sport ever makes it, if you ever need a genuine expert opinion, John's the one to go to. But absolutely, commentary, you and Neil.
Yeah. Oh man. I would have an absolute field day. I think the banter, it would be the longest game of pun tennis, I reckon. If the back and forth Neil and I could do, we would go to the crack of dawn. And
you're the one guy that could potentially step up to that challenge, because Neil has a deep bloody bag full of tricks when it comes to his one-liners. It's amazing.
Yeah. So. Right,
but you show potential that you could potentially go toe to toe with him.
Yeah, that's it, Neil. I'm weak as piss, and I absolutely love you. I'm not challenging you to an arm wrestle. Bowen's got 500 on it, and I might chuck a couple of 100 on that as well. Hang on. Yeah, the wife couldn't hear me. I might chuck a couple of 100 on that as well. But I would absolutely, he's just a good dude. And I knew something was going in the right direction with these videos when Tony Katowski shared one of my YouTube videos. So I get the Instagram videos, put them together.
Yeah.
Try and broaden the audience. And someone commented on Tony Katowski's thing and said, not as good as Neil Pickup. And Neil Pickup liked the comment. And I was just like, the fact that I'm in the same conversation, love it. Don't care. Yeah. Of course I'm not as good as Neil Pickup. But I tell you what, you want some entertaining matches? Absolutely, I would sit there. So Igor, Neil, I'm going to hit you up. I'm going to send you a clip of Ryan nominating you. So hopefully I can get you guys on the show. That's fucking unreal. And then, of course, you come on the show. You've heard the Ready Baaanng. I want to hear your best impression of it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Ready Baaanng!
Oh, Ready Baaanng! Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Guys, if you're watching, go to Ryan Blue Bowen on Instagram. Please go to the Pound for Pound YouTube channel. Just under 33,000 subscribers on there. The views are phenomenal. The content is unreal. You were the first guest that I was gunning for the podcast because I'm Australian and I've got to stick to my locals. I'm a big fan of your grind and hustle. It might not be everyone's favourite cup of tea. Do what you can to obviously fucking subscribe to my channel, but do what you can to support Ryan because he's taken a punt on someone as low as me, and I am forever grateful for this. Ryan, you're an absolute legend. I've enjoyed having a beer and having a chat with you. And hopefully when this is all over, I can come up and host some events in Queensland. You can come down to Melbourne. Hopefully we can do some more work in the future.
No, man, I really appreciate thank you to you for having me on the show first and foremost, but more importantly, man, what you're doing for the sport. I don't know whether you know it, believe it or not, but you doing this is making a massive contribution to the sport. I see the potential in what you're doing, man, as well. You have all of the right criteria, and I can see that the biggest thing is it looks like you bloody enjoy it and you love it. So to me, it's inevitable. It's one of those other inevitable things. You're going to be big in the sport. 2, 3, 5 years from now, Aussie ArmWrestler is going to be huge in this sport. Everyone globally will know it.
Mate, I'll take that.
Probably won't even take that long, but it'll be a career for you in that time.
Mate, I don't care if it takes that long. What I'm doing at home now is magnificent. A beautiful wife and a job that I enjoy. And this just started off as a bit of fun. But like people like yourself, Andrew Leah that runs House of Pain in Melbourne. He's been a huge fan of what I'm doing, and I can't imagine what it's like for someone at the top of the sport to even help someone potentially down the bottom. I remember the first comment on one of my matches. You were like, "How have I never seen any of these?" And then suddenly it's like, "I watch all of these."
I want to put an offer to you straight away. Just as you were saying it, then made me realise something that works for me. Each year, Travis and I run a tournament in Arizona where Travis and I run it. We stay at John's place. We have a blast. Take an Aussie team over there. Travis runs the mic, but I reckon we get you over there to commentate the Arizona event, and we'll hang out at John Baaanng's, all that sort of stuff. Because I think you would contribute massively on the mic there, and Travis would love it. I know Travis would love it. So consider your flight paid to the Arizona event that we do next time.
Mate, I don't want to stand up because I'm wearing grey Jordan track pants, but I've literally just weighed a little. That's unbelievable. Wait till I go upstairs and wake up my wife and say, "Babe, I'm going to Arizona soon."
That's the best. That's my most enjoyable trip of the year annually. And Arizona is my favorite place on planet Earth, mainly because of the people, the memories there are phenomenal. It's where my business really took off Travis, John, both incredibly instrumental in getting me off the ground, and their generosity, it's rewarded me to a level I never knew possible. So if I can help leverage you up to the same sort of realms, man, it'd be my honor.
Oh, mate, cannot thank you enough to even just say even nothing comes across. But I know you're a man of your word, so I cannot thank you enough. So once again, man, thank you so much for being on the very first show of the Ready Bang podcast, the Aussie ArmWrestler.
Make the t-shirt already. Make the t-shirt. I want a Ready Bang t-shirt.
How good is it?
Yeah. Oh no, I want a Ready Bang t-shirt. Ready Bang.
Yeah. If I can work it out to do some, if you know anyone that does. I know someone did the Simpsons character for me, so I might hit them up for a Ready Bang t-shirt for the next podcast, and hopefully Igor and Neil can jump on. But if not, I'll just be harassing everyone.
All good, man.